Hello and welcome. You're watching the Verdict 2017. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor, and in the next 30 minutes we'll be getting you all the news and updates from the states where elections are going on or will be taking place. Let us start with the headlines. Campaigning to end for Phase 6 of Uttar Pradesh elections and first phase in Manipur, voting to take place on 4th of March. Hectic campaigning for Uttar Pradesh elections. Rahul Gandhi to address the 3 rallies, Akhilesh to address the 7 rallies, Amit Shah to also campaign. A newly formed PRGA party confident that victory in even one of the 3 seats that they are fighting will help to raise their voice in the Manipur Assembly. Well, today is the last day of campaigning for the 6th and penultimate phase of polling in Uttar Pradesh. Now, 49 constituencies spread across 7 districts will vote in this phase to be held on 4th of March. Well, the districts that are going to polls include Azamgarh, Gorakhpur, Balia, Kushinagar, Deoria, Maharajganj and Mau. 635 candidates, including 63 women, are in the fray in this phase. Well, a total of 1.72 crore voters are eligible to exercise their franchise. Well, the BJP is contesting on all the 49 seats, while the the BSP is contesting on all the 49 seats, while the BJP on 45, SP on 40, Congress 10 and RLD 36 seats. In the 2012 assembly polls, of the 49 seats, 27 were won by SP, 9 by BSP, 7 by the BJP, 4 by the Congress and 2 by others. All right, my colleagues are on the ground in Uttar Pradesh. Let's get an up-to-date information from them. Shyam Sundar is joining us from Azamgarh, and Kriti Mishra joins us from Kushinagar. Let's go across to Kriti first. Now, Kriti, speaking about Kushinagar, though SP had won the seat in the 2012 assembly polls, but this time BJP is really looking to give a tough fight to the Samajwadi Party Congress alliance this time.
Well, that's right, Aishwarya. There's a very famous catchphrase here in Uttar Pradesh that whoever wins Purvanchal gets to rule the state. So definitely it's a very high stakes political arena for all the political parties. And as far as Kushinagar is concerned, remember in 2012 the SP could manage to establish its hegemony, but it's not going to be that simple for it this time around because there's huge element of anti-incumbency. As far as the BJP is concerned, definitely Kushinagar and the entire region of Deoria, Kushinagar, remember Kalraj Mishra, who's the union minister, exercises sizable influence here, and also Firebrand leader Yogi Adityanath, who hails from Gorakhpur and represents Gorakhpur. He also exercises influence in this entire region. So definitely it's a huge task for the BJP to replicate its performance and eclipse all the political parties the way it did in 2014 Lok Sabha elections. But even for the BJP, it's not going to be that easy because remember in 2014, the BJP had promised, particularly in this area, that all the sugar mills that have been closed down. Remember, Aishwarya, around 7 sugar mills have been closed down in this area, and earlier this area was known as the Sugar Bowl of Eastern Uttar Pradesh. So certainly that's a huge issue as far as the farmers are concerned. So all the political parties, whether the SP in 2012 or the BJP in 2014, have made hollow promises of reopening these sugar mills, but those promises did not see light of the day. So certainly there are several issues among the farmers, among the voters, among the youth. So it's not going to be easy for all the political parties, but definitely it's a high stakes arena for all of them. And in fact, even for the BSP, because BSP is fielding a lot of turncoats. Remember, Ansaris from Mau and also from Balia, Narad Rai. So all the political parties have actually pulled out all stops to get this eastern pie of Uttar Pradesh.
Absolutely. And as far as the eastern Uttar Pradesh is concerned, of course, Azamgarh is also one of the key constituencies where Shyam, our correspondent, is at the moment. Shyam, now focus will definitely be on SP patron Mulayam Singh Yadav's Lok Sabha constituency, because last time SP had won 9 of the 10 assembly seats in Azamgarh. But this time, Mulayam Singh Yadav has not even addressed a single meeting in his parliamentary constituency. So it will be very interesting to see how the voters here are going to vote.
there was a infight in Samajwadi Party, and party symbol cycle went to Akhilesh Yadav group, and at that point of time Mulayam Singh Yadav made it very, very clear that he is not going to campaign for Samajwadi Party. He will campaign for selective candidates like Shivpal Yadav or his daughter-in-law in Lucknow. So he has campaigned for those two candidates. As far as Azamgarh is concerned, when we are talking to voters here, it's not a big issue for voters here, because they feel that now, because Akhilesh Yadav is Chief Minister and he is the face of Samajwadi Party in the state, so he is the future of Samajwadi Party and he is running the government, and voters here are weighing how Akhilesh Yadav has performed in last 5 years. So that is not an issue, but of course we have to, if we look at the present election, Akhilesh Yadav had 7 rallies in Azamgarh, so you can have an idea that he is not very assured of the victory here as it happened in 2012, because Bahujan Samaj Party has done its homework, and Rashtriya Ulema Council is supporting Bahujan Samaj Party. So Samajwadi Party is apprehensive about the division of Muslim votes, but when we go on the ground, the situation is as complicated for Bahujan Samaj Party and BJP also. We are in a village called Karanpur in Azamgarh. And we have a few people here with us. Let's talk to them what they think about these elections. दादा, अपना नाम मुझे बता दीजिए।
अवतार सिंह।
राम अवतार जी, इस गांव में सबसे ज्यादा किसकी तरफ माहौल है चुनाव में?
माहौल तो चल रहा है भाजपा का।
किस वजह से?
इसलिए कि विकास कर रहा है।
विकास कर रहे हैं। अखिलेश यादव के बारे में क्या राय है आपके?
वो तो यहाँ कोई विकास नहीं किए।
कोई विकास नहीं किए हैं। अच्छा, यहाँ पर राजभर समुदाय के लोग काफी बड़ी तादाद में हैं इस गांव में, तो बहुत बीजेपी के साथ जो भारतीय समाज पार्टी है ओम प्रकाश राजभर की, उनका जो गठबंधन हुआ है, क्या उसका भी कोई असर है कि आप लोग बीजेपी के साथ जा रहे हैं?
हाँ
है, इस बात का भी असर है। अच्छा, आप बताइए कि इस गांव में बहुजन समाज पार्टी, समाजवादी पार्टी और बीजेपी की अगर बात करें तो सबसे ज्यादा झुकाव किसकी तरफ है?
देखिए, गांव के झुकाव की तरफ तो दिक्कत यह है कि यहाँ के जो भी मंत्री आए हैं, यहाँ जो भी मीटिंग किए हैं, वो ऐसे आदमी को सपोर्ट कर दिए हैं कि इस आदमी हम न मिलें तो इस आदमी से आप लोग कहिएगा, हम आप लोगों की बात सुनेंगे, और जिस आदमी का नाम ले लिए हैं उस आदमी से नफरत है सबको। इसके चलते आज नतीजा ये निकला है कि ज्यादा सुनने को मिल रहा है कि ज्यादा लोग बीजेपी की तरफ जा रहे हैं।
So you can hear voters here that they are going with the Bharatiya Janata Party, and it's a cause of worry for Bahujan Samaj Party in Azamgarh, because they have given a Rajput candidate and there is a sizable number of Rajputs here in this village also, but many of Rajput voters may go with the Bharatiya Janata Party for ideological reasons and because of Modi's popularity. So it's a very, very complicated election in this time in Azamgarh, and it looks like that there is a triangular fight on most of the seats.
Right. Shyam, thank you so much for those updates from Azamgarh. Obviously, it is the Lok Sabha constituency of SP Chief, but at the moment, these voters are speaking of the other parties in the fray as well. Thank you so much, Shyam, for all those updates there. And thank you so much, Kriti, for joining us from Kushinagar as well. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, campaigning will continue in Uttar Pradesh for the remaining 2 phases of elections, where Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi will address the 2 rallies in Maharajganj and 1 rally in Varanasi, while Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav will also address the 7 rallies in Balia today, while BSP Chief Mayawati is slated to address the 2 rallies in Chandauli and Bhadohi. BJP President Amit Shah will address a rally in Azamgarh and in Gorakhpur, while Congress leaders will also address the rallies in Gorakhpur, Mirzapur, Kushinagar and Varanasi today. Well, as the crucial Uttar Pradesh battle draws to a close with just 2 more of the 7 phases of the voting now left, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday mocked the opposition parties for opposing the centre's demonetization drive. He also targeted the Akhilesh government for allegedly failing to provide basic amenities, including houses, to the people of the state.
A day after the latest GDP data showed that the note ban did not affect the economic growth rate, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday praised his government's decision to demonetize the 500 and 1000 rupee notes. Modi took a dig at Nobel laureate Amartya Sen, saying that hard work mattered more than Harvard. Sen had called demonetization a despotic action that had struck at the root of the economy based on trust.
हार्वर्ड आगे बढ़ेगा कि हार्ड वर्क देश के किसानों ने दिखा दिया है, देश के मजदूरों ने दिखा दिया है, देश के ईमानदारों ने दिखा दिया है, हार्वर्ड से ज्यादा दम होता है हार्ड वर्क में। भाइयों बहनों, हिंदुस्तान दुनिया की सबसे तेज गति से आगे बढ़ने वाली इकोनॉमी में उसने अपना नाम दर्ज करा दिया है। कल जीडीपी के आंकड़े आए, उन्होंने फिर से सिद्ध कर दिया।
In Devariya, the Prime Minister targeted the Congress Samajwadi Party alliance. He said while one specialized in economically ruining the country, the other was an expert in politically destroying Uttar Pradesh.
एक को सफाई में रस है, दूसरा हाथ को हाथ की सफाई में रस है। ये सफाई वालों से और हाथ की सफाई वालों से उत्तर प्रदेश को बचाना है कि नहीं बचाना है। और इसलिए भाइयों बहनों, आपको जान करके खुशी होगी, गुजरात के कंडला से 2500 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा पाइपलाइन लगा रहे हैं। पाइपलाइन, उस पाइपलाइन से गैस आएगा।
Modi also expressed confidence in winning the assembly elections. He promised to fulfill the aspirations of the poor without discriminating on the basis of caste or religion. Sixth phase of elections in the state are scheduled on March 4th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, campaigning for the sixth phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh has reached its peak, while BSP Supremo Mayawati said that BJP is misleading the people of Uttar Pradesh in the name of demonetization. While hitting back at Prime Minister Modi at a rally in Sonbhadra, she said that the BJP is now being called the Bharatiya Jumla Party. She warned voters that if the BJP comes to power, all reservations will go away. She also urged the people of the state to vote for her party for development and crime-free state.
जो मेरे किसान भाई हैं, उनसे भी मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्या इन 2.5 वर्षों में किसी भी एक किसान का 1 रुपए का भी कर्ज माफ हुआ है? मैं समझती हूँ नहीं हुआ है। और अब इनके ये दोनों मुख्य चुनावी वायदे भी या अन्य वायदों की तरह ही केवल हवाई व कोरे जुमलेबाजी ही बनकर रह गए हैं, जिसकी वजह से अब लोग पूरे देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को यहाँ भारतीय जुमला पार्टी भी कहने लगे हैं, जो काम कम और जुमलेबाजी ही ज्यादा करती है।
Well, as the campaign for the final two phases in Uttar Pradesh reaches a feverish pitch, now SP Congress Alliance is going all out to woo the voters. Addressing one rally after the other in Deoria and Mao, Akhilesh Yadav tried to corner both the BJP and the BSP. While taking a dig at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Akhilesh said that he has no hopes of winning. That is why he is talking of a fractured mandate and a coalition. Well, Akhilesh said that the BJP and the BSP are scared of the SP Congress Alliance in the state. Well, Rahul Gandhi also called Prime Minister Modi anti-farmers at a public rally in Kushinagar. He said that the Prime Minister has been making false promises to the people of Uttar Pradesh.
मैंने उन्हें कई बार समझाया, फिर समझा रहा हूं कि ये दो कुनबों का गठबंधन नहीं है, ये दो युवा नेताओं का गठबंधन है, जो प्रदेश की राजनीति और देश की राजनीति को आगे ले जाने के लिए गठबंधन हुआ है।
युवा का भविष्य ना देखे, उनके लिए मोदी का झूठे लगाए, ये करूंगा, 2 करोड़ युवाओं को रोजगार दूंगा। वायदे पूरे नरेंद्र मोदी जी सिर्फ हिंदुस्तान के सबसे अमीर 50 मिलियन वादे करते हैं।
Well, BJP is also going all out with its campaigning for the penultimate phase of Uttar Pradesh elections, while Home Minister Rajnath Singh says that the BJP will sweep the state with absolute majority.
जैसा माहौल पब्लिक मीटिंग्स में देखने को मिल रहा है और वैसे जो भी दूसरे स्रोतों से जो जानकारी प्राप्त हो रही है, उस आधार पर हम लोग पूरी तरह से कॉन्फिडेंट हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को उत्तर प्रदेश विधानसभा में क्लियर मेजॉरिटी ही नहीं बल्कि एब्सोल्यूट मेजॉरिटी मिलेगी।
And today is also the last day of campaigning for the first phase of elections in Manipur, while a total of 38 assembly constituencies will vote in the first of the two phases on 4th of March. Well, a total of 168 candidates are in the fray in this phase, while BJP is contesting in all the seats in this phase out of the total assembly strength of 60. Well, the Congress has not fielded candidates in Churachandpur and the Kang Popki districts. There are 11 independents in this phase. In the previous elections in 2012, the Congress had won 42 seats out of the 60 seats. Well, in 2014, the Manipur State Congress Party and its 5 sitting MLAs also joined the ruling Congress, taking the Congress tally in the assembly to 47. Well, the state at the moment is reeling under an economic blockade called by the United Naga Council against the decision to create 7 new districts. The UNC is fighting on 15 seats in the state. And the other main parties in the fray are the Congress, BJP, Ram Sharmila's People's Resurgence and Justice Alliance, the Left Democratic Front and the Naga People's Front. Akhilesh Suman, my colleague, is joining us live from Imphal at the moment. Akhilesh, very good afternoon. Of course, today is the last day of campaigning as far as the first phase of elections in Manipur are concerned, and we saw a series of pre-poll incidents, violent incidents in Manipur, a bomb in Imphal, also police personnel being attacked. That was on Sunday. But on 4th of March, can we expect peaceful polling in the state?
Yeah, Aishwarya, this is true that some incidents have taken place, and yesterday also BJP office was attacked by Manipuri Students Association. But these incidents are very uncertain incident, and these are a small incident given the whole situation of Manipur is concerned. And in a way you can understand that this type of violence, this is something that you cannot tell serious. And recently there has been I think half an hour earlier, Election Commission had called a press conference, and they had told that we have arranged everything possible on the earth to ensure free and fair election and violence-free election. And if you see around that, there are lots of paramilitary forces have been deployed for peaceful election in the state. And as far as the first phase of election is concerned, it is comparatively better off area of the whole Manipur state, because this is the valley, rather it is the plains area of the state, and where specifically the majority Meitei community are living. And 39 seats that you have been knowing, that these 39 seats have been, you can say, the hotbed of Congress, whole Congress bastion. So Congress is hoping that this is the area where most peaceful election might happen. But also I'm trying to add that even the United Naga Council that is having economic blockade in the state, it has not given any signal that it will go for violence in the election, because it has supported Naga People's Front. And once it has supported, I also called them up, and they told that we are not going to give any backward call, rather we will tell people and go for, against the Congress and vote for Naga People's Front. So in a way they are participating in the election. Even Kuki underground organizations have declared, Kuki Revolutionary Association is the biggest Kuki organization today. They have also announced that people should go and vote. So every community in the state have their very clear agenda, whom to vote and whom not to vote. And it will be interesting to see that how much percentage turns up, because in a way you can see that this is going to be one of the best elections in last 10 years or 15 years, because every community is having a separate agenda, very adamant on their agenda, but they are also, they might be dividing on issues of infrastructure, on issue of development, because Ibobi Singh, the Congress-led government, is for last 15 years. So it is not going to be very easy, but it is going to be very interesting agenda. And there are layers after layers in the society that you might know that Manipur is known for more than 40 ethnic groups, and every ethnic group have their own issue and their own agenda. Aishwarya.
Absolutely. So everyone is hoping for a peaceful election in the state of Manipur on 4th of March. It'll be interesting to see if Ibobi Singh will get a 4th term as the Chief Minister of the state. Of course, in the first phase, of course, these are the areas that are the Congress bastions. But this time, Ibobi Singh is facing a lot of challenges from other parties as well. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates from Manipur at the moment. And on a two-day visit to poll-bound Manipur, while BJP President Amit Shah addressed election rallies in Imphal West area and in the Naga-dominated Ukhrul regions, Well, he blamed the Congress-ruled state government for not finding a solution to the economic blockade in the state since November last year. He also charged it with sheltering extremist groups for political benefits. Well, Shah promised a blockade-free Manipur and said that the BJP will not compromise in the state boundary talks with the NSCN-IM.
केंद्र में नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार है। अगर यहां पर भी एक सरकार पूर्ण बहुमत की भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बनती है तो मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, हम 5 ही साल में मणिपुर को एक मॉडल स्टेट बनाकर दिखाएंगे मित्रों, मॉडल स्टेट बनाकर।
And as our reporter Akhilesh Suman was telling us, well, the BJP state office in Imphal was yesterday attacked. Well, the Kangli Park Students Association, which is an independent civil society organization, is reported to have carried out the attack. Well, a group of KSA members first gathered at the gate of the BJP office and they demanded to meet the state party leaders. But when they were told that no one was present inside, they went on a rampage. Well, they were demanding the repeal of framework agreement between the centre and the NSCN-IM, which was inked in August 2015. Well, the BJP has accused Congress over the attack. The state unit of the BJP will meet the Election Commission to ensure safety and security of all its candidates in the state. Earlier, the KSA members had also reportedly tried to storm the Congress office.
तो इस बात की कंप्लेंट लेकर हम लोग निर्वाचन आयोग भी जाएंगे और गवर्नर हाउस भी जाएंगे। जब इम्फाल शहर सुरक्षित नहीं है तो मणिपुर की पुलिस के जो मुखिया हैं उन पर तो कोई टिप्पणी करने का मतलब ही नहीं है। इससे निर्वाचन आयोग को हम चाहेंगे कि यहाँ के डिस्ट्रिक्ट के जो एसपी और एडिशनल एसपी है इनको तत्काल प्रभाव से इन पर कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए।
Well, apart from the Congress and the BJP, well, Irom Sharmila-led PRGA party has also fielded 3 candidates this time, and the party is confident that even one victory will be enough for them to raise their voice and agenda in the newly elected Manipur Assembly.
Elendro, a Harvard University alumni, is the convener of the Praja Party and is a right-hand man of Irom Sharmila. Elendro Leichombam, who is contesting from the Thangmaiwan seat of Imphal city, said that the party is contesting only on 3 seats since they did not find suitable candidates who represent the party's ideology.
There are many factors to that. Number one is our party is hardly 6 months old. Number two, we have a very clear party principle and philosophy, and we have very strict rules. The vetting process for the candidates, wanting to contest from our party ticket is probably the strictest in India. We wanted to make sure when we started the party that we get the right people.
The party was registered after elections were announced. They're confident that the Lok Sabha elections in 2019 and the next assembly polls in 2022 will see the real appeal of Irom Sharmila and her party's ideology.
We are going to win. We are going to win all 3 seats, and even if we don't win all 3 seats, one of us will win, and 2 of us will win, and one Praja MLA, Praja Party MLA is comparable to 60 Congress MLAs or 60 BJP MLAs. We have all agreed that this is just the beginning. We have just started, and obviously we're going to fight the 2019 Lok Sabha election, and obviously we had 5 months to prepare for this election. Now we'll have 5 years to prepare for 2022, and so we're going to be a very strong position because we have a very strong Praja youth volunteer base.
Praja is being helped by a host of volunteers who have come from Delhi and Maharashtra. These volunteers work for crowdfunding to raise election expenses or work in the social media to woo young voters.
We met Sharmila in Chandigarh when we were working with Prashant Kishore on the Punjab elections for the Congress. She was there to speak at a youth conference. We had promised that we'd obviously all know about her struggle. She's fasting for 16 years. So we wanted to help her in her endeavor now that she changed her strategy to fight her battle against AFSPA. So, but we thought we'll do it remotely, help her with the social media. But it so happened that we'd quit our jobs and then we landed up in Manipur.
I've been working with Praja and Irom Sharmila for the last 2 months, helping them out with the campaigns. I'm volunteering here. I wanted to do something meaningful and try and get honest people in politics. So I had been reading about Sharmila, my heart is still at activist background, so keeping all that, we met her, we told her we'll help you as much as possible remotely or so. But when we decided to come, we had already quit our jobs and we came here and we said, okay, we don't want any money, we'll volunteer for you because there's something unique and challenging which you're doing and we would like to contribute towards a great building up a movement sort of a thing.
Praja has done a near door-to-door campaigning from the very beginning, spending minimum money for all the three candidates. They say less than 20 lakhs have been spent so far for campaigning. Akhilesh Suman's report from Imphal for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, that's all in our election special bulletin, Verdict 2017. Thanks for watching.